Hello Internet, welcome back to our Apartment Rat series. In the last episode, we cleared out some horde coming from one of these swimming pools. Of course, there's two right next to each other. Big old horde collapsed a little bit of the roof on top of us. Probably the closest thing we've been to something exciting in a long time. Unfortunately, not really any point to it. We didn't really want access to any of these buildings, so it's not super valuable. And I'm a firm believer that you need to come into every episode with a plan. Otherwise, it gets. What is a muskalunge? What in God's name is that? Is that over here? Is that this thing? Muskalunge, closely related to pike, shares the same aggression and sharp teeth. Well, that sounds horrible. I really don't like my fish to have teeth, so that's unfortunate. What is our icon? Are we drunk? Is our character drunk? Why am I'm pressing all the wrong buttons? Tipsy. Okay, well, I mean, we had a pale ale or something like, I don't know, an hour ago. I feel like. Anyway, I'm a firm believer that we should come into every episode with a plan. Otherwise, my commentary tends to suffer. So, what is the plan for this episode? I don't have one, if I'm being honest. I kind of want to drive our vehicle over here. We might end up cutting down this tree just to get it out of our way, which is such a weird thing to have to stop and do because I don't think we could remove these things. And I don't think our vehicle will really fit through here. Then we're going to, I think, pull in here and see if we can bump these vehicles out of our way. I'm really, really uncertain of whether we can do that or not. Obviously, we can't drive through here with all the boulders. Maybe we can try smashing the gravestones, but that seems horrible, like to smash a gravestone. Why don't we, for now, we're going to head over. I mean, I guess technically the pickup truck, the flatbed here might be drivable, so we should definitely at least try. And we're also going to check this ambulance and see if there's anything there, or emergency vehicle or whatever it is. We'll take the OJ, perishable drink items, whatever. Ooh, brandy. Actually, I have a bottle of brandy in the other room, which I never ever drink because I'm really not a drinker. Doesn't look like there's anything in the rear of this vehicle. They are heavy duty frames. We're looking for regular. Oh, right. There was a horde there still. Okay, we'll just come to the vehicle. That'll distract them a little bit. And hopefully we'll just get them one at a time. Yep. Just make a racket, because I forgot to turn down my sound. So this is what I deserve. Okay, there's another little horde. I guess we'll just fight them all. None of them are particularly dangerous. The tough zombie is the toughest thing there, and it's really not anything to be concerned about at all. So, okay, yep. We did also put on tack gloves in the last episode because our flame-resistant gloves had been busted up, which is fine because the tack gloves are better in every comprehensible way. Except they are slightly more encumbering, which is really not an issue. So, please stop smashing. Please. You hear crash. Well, where did its corpse go? There we go. No, fat zombie, no thank you. Smash the corpses. Takes a long time. No, shrieker, not concerned with you. Anything of interest? I mean, do we really need to keep picking up cash cards at this point? We're kind of past that. Items, please. Cordless drill. I don't think we brought a drill with us. I guess we'll pick that up. Cash card with 55 cents. Not really, what I was looking for. Garbage. Any other corpses around here? Anything with corpses? I want to smash everything. I don't want to leave anything behind in case we end up staying in the area. Although it doesn't look like that's going to be something we're going to be doing, of course, but you never really know. Please run. It'd be wonderful if you ran. It has wheels, has gas, has battery, does not have controls. Of course not. Of course. Why would it? Why would it have controls? Pick up. We already have a jerry can. Really don't need any more jerry cans. Let's recover our stamina because if the heartbeat doesn't stop, I'm going to lose my mind. Can we smash this? You don't seem to be damaging the headstone. What's the damage on this? 20 bash. So the 40 of the sledgehammer might be enough to do it. Feel really disrespectful smashing tombstones. Obviously something you should not do in real life. I realize, of course, that this is a game, but it still feels pretty disrespectful. Okay, see if we can use a sledge to knock these out. I mean, I guess we could sledge all these boulders and drive through the park, but it just isn't what I want to do. I just want these things. You hear crash. Okay, I think we can drive over these pretty safely. Small cemetery, grave. Actually, I don't know if you can drive over graves. Mountable, flat. See, I would assume that they were just raised dirt the way that any other pile of raised dirt would be, and that we would... Oh, a walleye. Yeah, I'm not worried about the fish. I wish it would stop sending me messages about the fish. Okay, this is very exhausting to use the sledgehammer. I think we will try to pull our vehicle through on the diagonal, and if we can just get it far enough in that we can orient this way, we can nudge this thing and see if we can push it out of our way. Oh, there's a horde coming. Okay, we should go back to our warhammer. These are all the good. Another. Okay, so this is a problem because if they come up here and start smashing this, there's going to be a lot of debris, and I don't know how drivable. I don't know how much you can drive over the debris. So what we're going to do actually is pull down this way and see if we can keep them from smashing up the flatbed. And if we can get them to come through the vehicle at us, we should be relatively safe. And in worst case scenario, we will dart back up to the building. There's really not that many of them. We'll dart back up to the building where we can make sure that we can only bring them one at a time. My God, it's just so loud to hear them smashing all this stuff. I even turned my sound way down. Okay, I think we're going to back up because if they grab us, it could be a real issue. We could get bit by a lot of things all at once. Try to keep your balance. Okay, we'll stand here so that we're not in the rubble. We missed a lot. Why did we miss so much? Torso encumbrance throws you off balance. You swing wildly and miss. You dodge. Okay, well... Okay. That's fine. Where'd all you... Why aren't you here yet? Leave... Why are you in the flatbed? If you can see me, why are you in the flatbed? I don't understand. They have exclamations over their head which says they see me. Why'd they go in here? Okay. Real pain in the ass. Apparently it's a fire truck, not a flatbed. Or, I mean, I guess this is the fire truck. Oh, which would mean the items would be on the side, I think. I don't know. I thought they would be in here. I don't care. Let's deal with this horde so that I can get back to what I was going to do. Anyway, this is not good commentary. What's going on with me? I just had some sausage for dinner and a little bit of mac and cheese earlier. I'm not a big fan of mac and cheese. I know a lot of people, particularly Americans, view that as a real comfort food. But I didn't really have that growing up so much. Or I did, but not like you think. Like most people, when they think of mac and cheese, think like baked mac and cheese that's really cheesy and delicious. We didn't have that. We had like bare bones, bottom of the barrel, cheapest you can buy, where it was basically just yellow macaroni that had a quote-unquote cheese sauce, which wasn't actually cheese and didn't taste like cheese at all, and just sort of tasted like salty yellow, which is, you know, not what most people think of, is my point. So mac and cheese to me is not really what it probably means to you. Let's see if we can drive over the grave. Be very slow. Slams into the underbrush with a smash. Okay, well, I'm getting real sick of underbrush stopping my vehicle. I don't care if I'm going 4 miles an hour. It's a little ridiculous. So we're going to go ahead and clear out some of this underbrush. I really don't know what to do about the grave itself. I assume that we can drive over that. This is pretty tight. I think we should take out one more grave so that when we do... yes, I see you. so that when we do come, because we're going to be pulling more or less straight and at a little diagonal, and then when we go to move to the south, our rear end is going to snap around, and I really don't want it to collide with these gravestones. Really taking a number to smash these things. Getting a little irritated, in fact, with how hard it is to smash a gravestone. Gravestones are actually, I imagine, relatively fragile for a strong person wielding a sledgehammer. Kind of getting fucking ridiculous at this point. There we go. Okay. Wait, zombies dangerously close. Okay. Not anymore. Ignore. Wait for our stamina. Yes. Please piss off, zombies. I'm not in the mood for this. Muskalung. No, I'm good. Stop posting me about fish. Who cares? Fish should not count as an enemy. We dropped not the warhammer. We dropped the sledgehammer. We wield the warhammer. Okay, let's drop anything else we picked up. We didn't. Just a ton of cash cards. 18 grand in cash cards. Pretty useless. If I'm being honest, not a whole lot we're going to be using that for. See if we can pull this thing. We're not moving. Can we pull? There we go. Pull in at an angle. Can we? Okay, now hit this. Bump it. Just bump it. Okay. Let's stop and let's just take a look and see if our vehicle, how do we look at our vehicle? I just want to check on the quality of our rams. Okay, so it's not really doing any damage. We do need to replace that frame at some point. In fact, we're getting, some of these frames are in really bad condition. Man, I don't know. I don't really understand why all these frames are damaged. I'm confused by that, especially the ones that have armor plating. I thought that the armor plating was supposed to get damaged before the frame itself. Let's bump up to 8 miles an hour and see how much more pushing we can do. So this isn't terrible. We obviously can do this when we get into tricky spots like that. Where do we want to head here? We don't want to head south. We want to hang a right here and see if we can plow through the... No, because there's forest right there. It's not going to be an open field. We'll move to the end of this row. Of course, people honking. We'll head to this row and we'll head south. And then maybe we'll stop over here. Because I really want to be... Stop honking. Why are you honking? I really want to be able to search through some of these banks. The problem is we don't have a stethoscope. I don't think there's anything just loose inside of a bank vault. I think that it requires you to loot the safes. And if we look around, there's really nothing here that would give us a stethoscope. This is a huge town that is literally, I would say, like 85% houses. Super disappointing. I know I complain about that a lot. I just think that I understand most houses in real life are predominantly, or most towns in real life are predominantly houses. The problem is that this is Cataclysm. It's a game about, looting and surviving and things. And like 85% houses is boring. And then you add in all these stupid little areas. Like you might say, like, well, most towns are houses. Yeah, but most towns don't have a public pond in them or, a bunch of wooded trails or 10 pavilions or whatever. And it's like, if you're trying to balance around realism, you're screwing it up by doing some other things. So why not just go the extra step and make it more satisfying from a gameplay perspective than a realism perspective? It's one of those few instances where I feel like the realism hurts the game. Most of the time, I'm a staunch supporter of the where's there a shocker? Oh, that's a horde down there. A big horde, mostly nothing. What the heck is this? Thorny Shambler. They allude to a paralysis attack in their description, which is not ideal. The shocker is actually right here. So I do think I was going to stop and see what we could pull off of these solar vehicles. I don't really think it's worth the effort. I think we're just going to back up and gun it down this road here. Please don't. Okay, back up and drive down the road. Because honestly, I just don't feel like... I was going to get out and fight the zombies, but I really don't feel like fighting a shocker zombie on foot. Just seems a little bit not ideal. Why am I still driving? Okay. So it seemed to have eaten a few of my inputs there and doubled up on certain things. A little scary. I don't know if that's because of our driving skill or... Well, I can't think of anything else it would be. There's a scarred zombie. I believe they spawn wasps or something. Okay. Which road are we turning down? Several more yet, so we'll just keep plowing through the horde. Okay. I don't understand why I turned. I mean, we didn't hit anything that particularly scary. So that was interesting. Is this our turn? No. Next road is our turn. Head over this way. A little bit of a tight squeeze here. Okay, we made it. And so we're going to turn here. Unfortunately, there's really not a clear area for us to turn because of the bike. So I think we will just hit the bike. Okay. Fat zombie is hitting us in the passenger seat, and we are pushing a dog that does not seem to want to go down. Okay. I mean, I was going to stop down here. What is this tiny teal tile? A pond. So this town, in addition to having tons of houses, has 3 ponds in it. 4 ponds in it. It's ridiculous, you know? The map gen stuff really gets me down. I think we just want to leave the town at this point. I don't see, again, we were looking for labs. Obviously, we're not going to find them in the middle of a super dense zombie-packed town. So we're just going to move out of town and have a look at our vehicle to make sure we're not to the point where we can't drive it anymore. We want to hang a right here. Another tight squeeze. Of course, plowed into everything. Yep. And let's get out of town. So that was horrible. We're going to stop here. If there are some stragglers that follow us, that's fine. Kill the fat zombie that had taken up residence in our vehicle. Anything coming? Doesn't look like it. Let's have a look at our current damage. Not good. 1 dead frame. Many damaged frames. Damaged shutter door. See, I just don't understand why it would damage the shutter door. It obviously was not something that was exposed to damage. It's in an interior tile where even if we angled this and it broke up our nice clean line, because when you turn, it opens up gaps in your vehicle, this should still have never been exposed to damage. So I don't understand how it chooses to damage things. It doesn't seem to be very sensible. Seems to just kind of randomly assign damage to the vehicle. So I don't understand. But we're not in terrible condition. I do think we're going to spend a little time here now to repair our vehicle a little bit. Looks like there's really nothing out here. Just a bunch of forest and some trails. And we'll head over to Whitefield, a smaller town, has some of these jagged edges. There could potentially be a lab over here. I don't think it would be here. This looks like maybe something in a parking lot next to each other. But I just don't know where to go, really, or what to do. I've never had such a hard time finding labs. Usually, they're some of the first places I look are usually a lab. Like some of these weird outskirt areas tend to be, it looks like these are all motels, which is unusual. I don't usually see so many motels. So not going great. Obviously, this is also showing off how I'm not much of a driver in this game. We're looking for a welder. Pick up the welder. Pick up the PBA mask. Pick Pick up the PBA mask. Pick up. It's not letting me. What is going on? PBA. There we go. I don't know what that was. Seems like it's eating my inputs lately. I don't know what that's about. I've complained about that before. I'm not sure. It seems like now when it's processing things, it's really giving me a hard time eating inputs. Like since they changed to 1 second turn times. I don't know. Drop the medium battery for recharge. Nope, didn't mean to drive. Turn off the engine. Turn on the recharge. Okay, so now when I'm standing nearby, it automatically chooses where you're activating the vehicle. That's fine, I guess. Recharge that, and we're going to repair some of the damaged components on our vehicle. Man, what was I even talking about? I didn't even get into commentary in this episode. I had sausage and macaroni and cheese for dinner. We're a very German family. We eat sausage a lot. Big sauerkraut people, which I'm a big fan of sauerkraut, which I know a lot of people find gross, which I don't really understand. But then I grew up eating it, and most people probably didn't. Spotted? No. That's one of those things, I tell people like, every New Year's we have sauerkraut, which is like a tradition. Like it's supposed to be good luck. You eat sauerkraut at the New Year. And people are always like, that's not a real thing. You made that up. It's like, no, it's either German or something like it is a tradition. People do that. And we eat, sauerkraut pretty regularly. I suggested it the other day because she was like, oh, well, we have all these pork chops. And I was like, haven't had pork and sauerkraut in a while. And then they ended up not making it, which was a little bit of a bummer. It is a hassle sometimes to use the oven, particularly in the summertime, where you just kind of want something nice and easy. They wanted to throw something in the crock pot that they didn't have to worry about, which you can totally do with sauerkraut. But I'm not the one who was making it, so it's kind of hard to fuss about. Big fan of sauerkraut. Reload our welder. Continue swapping batteries. This is why we wanted the welder, vehicle welder. It would save us from having to do this. We could just tap R and repair everything as we went, and we wouldn't have to constantly swap batteries. How you spotted me in the dropping sun is beyond me, but good for you. Repair our storage battery case. Too dark to repair, that's fine. We did a lot of work. Let's reload the welder. Store an inventory, drop the medium battery. When you reload, if you drop it from that menu instead of storing in your inventory, it actually will not put it in the recharger. It drops it on the ground beneath the vehicle, which is a bit silly, but so always store it in your inventory first. Did we pick up perishable food? We did. Probably ought to turn on the aisle lights. And we will make... Did we get any just raw meat? We did not. I know we got hot dogs. Why don't we... Campfire hot dog. Well, can't we make the more upgraded version? Cooked hot dog requires bread. Okay. Which we do not have. Alrighty. We have flour and stuff. We could make some bread. Is it worth it? It's not like we're doing anything else, and we're not using the flour. Why don't we make some bread? Bread, flatbread, cornbread. Well, cornbread is delicious, but because of the storage life of cornmeal products, I would rather make that when I was going to use it for a long time. But we're just going to make hot dogs, so the spoilage timer really doesn't matter. We'll make flatbread because I don't want to use up our yeast. Unfortunately, we don't have any regular water, so we'd be using our clean water. None of this is swamp, so there's no water tiles nearby. There's some water. We will take one beverage container, gallon. Do we have any empty gallon jugs? Of course we do. We'll go grab some regular water just so we have something to cook with instead of container for water. Instead of using up our clean water, which we would use for drinking. This way we can cook with something that's not clean. And we'll go back and we'll make some flatbread. Makes 2 portions. We'll make 2 charges of flatbread, and we will use the dirty water. Task is too simple to train your cooking. That is fine. We're not really looking to upgrade our cooking. There we go. Flatbread on the workbench. Hot dog. Hot. Why? Hot. I guess hot dog is 2 words. Cooked hot dog. So we really don't mind doing this. We do have bread. We have mustard. Ooh, sauerkraut. We do have mustard, which we're never going to use for anything else. I don't know if mustard is perishable in the game. I think in real life, mustard has a shelf life of a couple years. It's pretty stable. I could be completely wrong about that, though. Cooked hot dog requires more water. I'm actually curious. Where's the food pile? Mustard. Actually, might put mustard in the beverage pile, which is funny and weird. Mustard lasts for. Is it just not perishable? It appears to be not perishable. If we look for mustard, yeah, indefinite shelf life. Okay, so let's make some hot dogs. Hot dog. We will make 2 at a time because it will cut down. Actually, really doesn't cut down the crafting time at all. Unlike many other batch recipes, this one seems to take as long as it takes. Use the dirty water for that as well. We might also spend a little time just refilling our water supply since we found that tile of water really close. Let's eat some cooked hot dogs. We can't walk on the tile, so it's a little harder to get to the food. We will eat both hot dogs, which put us to full, and then we will drink some clean water. 1, 2. And we'll drink some more clean water. 3, 4. Why don't we cook the remainder of the water we pulled, which is 9 water, clean water, 9 water. Okay. Pour into container. And we will do one more batch and then we'll call it because we really don't want to spend a ton of time to boil water. This is something we would do in a more secure place where we could line up our vehicle with a campfire alongside a infinite water source. That way we could pour it directly into our vehicle a little easier. Clean water, we'll make a full batch. Yep, very German. German on every side of the family. I think our name is Polish, but we're not really Polish in our history. It's one of those things, Germany and Poland kind of have an intermingled history, some of which is not so good, but also it's relatively close proximity to one another, so it's not uncommon for people to, pick up last names or have some heritage connected to that. So, yeah, Polish, German. I think my I don't know. One of my great grandmothers, I think, just came here from Germany when she was young, and that's kind of where we got our start. We're not that far removed from. I don't know about my dad's side. It doesn't matter. None of this is particularly important. I know a lot of people really value their heritage. But I've always thought that was a bit silly. It doesn't really matter where you came from. It matters where you are now. So, people get all bent out of shape about, like in my family, for instance, we don't really use the term African American. We have black family members. They've never identified as African American because they're far removed from Africa. They're more American than anything else. So they just say they're American who happen to be black, who happen to be able to trace their lineage back to Africa. Doesn't really affect their day-to-day life that they came from Africa, And I feel the same. I mean, obviously it's different when you're a white guy. Nobody cares where you came from or anything. But I feel the same way. It's like we're from Germany, a lot of us, but it has no bearing on who I am. I'm an American, It doesn't really matter that I have a German history or that our name is Polish because it doesn't matter. We're not really Polish. We're Americans. So never put much stock in those things. I know some people do, and people like to take pride in their ancestry, but I don't care. In fact, we found out something about our ancestry pretty recently that's really, really dark. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next episode. I don't know if it's even appropriate for some audiences. It's real dark. We found out our great-great-grandfather, I don't know, a great-great-grandfather, I think. My grandmother's grandfather. Something real dark. Well, you know what? Maybe we will talk about that in the next episode. It'll at least give me something to focus our commentary on so we're not kind of scatterbrained all over the place. Our character has been sleeping forever. Why is time passing so slowly? I had someone in the comments pretty recently say, I don't think it's, that it's a processing issue. I think it's just they've added time to how long it takes to do things. I guess, but we're passing about 30 minutes at a time, and it's taken I don't know, 12 to 15 seconds per half hour. So you figure if you sleep for 8 hours, that's a couple minutes. So there we go. We woke up. I do think we're going to call the episode here. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Now we'll be back with more Cataclysm content in the near future. If you enjoyed the episode, maybe consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.